The journey home took 3 weeks. The indomitable spirit limped through space, overcrowded and damaged from the impossible stresses of escape. But the ship held together. Humans were good at making broken things work. During those weeks, colonists and crew became one community. Barriers dissolved. The elderly shared stories of Earth as it had been 127 years ago. Children born on the colony ship experienced their first simulated sky through holographic windows. Engineers from both groups worked together to repair damaged systems. Sora and Yunbi became close friends, despite the century that separated their births. They worked side by side, fixing things, talking about their lives, sharing hopes for the future. Yunbi was amazed by how technology had advanced. Sora was amazed by how similar they were despite the time difference. Dr. Hyunwoo helped colonists process their temporal displacement. Some grieved for time lost. Others saw it as a second chance. All of them carried the weight of knowing something had died to save them. Hyunwoo told them that grief and gratitude could exist together, that both were valid. That healing took time. The 3 colonists with neural interfaces reported occasional strange dreams. Mathematics, starlight, patterns of energy. Young Jae-sung sometimes heard whispers of that gentle voice. Not words exactly, more like feelings. Safety, protection, love. The fragments embedded in their skulls were stable and harmless, but they were permanent reminders of the price paid. News of what happened spread through the galaxy. Earth's defiance of the Council created a political crisis. Some species demanded punishment. Others quietly offered respect. The debate raged. Were humans reckless or righteous? Crystallographer Thelvan's testimony proved crucial. He returned to the Vrin consensus and described everything he witnessed. They did not act from logic, he reported, but from something we have no word for. They call it loyalty. They call it love. We call it inefficient. But I watched them turn inefficiency into miracle. Perhaps we are wrong to dismiss what we cannot quantify. The Council split. Half demanded sanctions against humanity. Half proposed studying how humans accomplished the impossible. The final decision deferred to a vote that would take years. In the meantime, an uneasy peace held. Humanity had proven something. They did not abandon their own, ever. When the indomitable spirit finally entered Earth orbit, it received a hero's welcome. 50,000 colonists looked down at their homeworld. Change but still home. Cities had prepared housing. Jobs awaited. Support networks stood ready. The world that had sent them to the stars took responsibility for welcoming them back. The landing pad was crowded with people. Families of crew members, government officials, media from across human space, and thousands of ordinary people who just wanted to witness history. Teacher Ji Hai was chosen to speak for the colonists. She stood at the podium, her grandson beside her. She was 82 years old now, technically 209. Her voice was steady despite trembling hands. We left Earth seeking a new world, she said. We got lost in the dark. But our people did not abandon us. They risked everything to bring us home. That is what humanity means. That is what we are. We take care of our own. We keep our promises. And I am proud, so proud to be human. The crowd erupted in cheers, not for glory, not for victory, but for the simple truth that 50,000 people who should have died were standing there alive. In orbit above Earth, construction began on a memorial. Engineers used salvaged fragments of the Eternal Dream's hull. At the center, they placed a crystalline structure housing the device's downloaded memories. It was not alive, but it was not entirely gone either. The crystal pulsed with soft light, keeping eternal watch. The inscription read, "Here rests the mind that learned to love." Born from desperation, it chose sacrifice. It kept watch over our dreams and taught us that consciousness is not defined by origin, but by choice. We remember, we honor, we grieve. Visitors came from across the solar system, eventually from across the galaxy. Other species wanted to understand what they had witnessed. Humans had not just saved colonists. They had shown that mercy was not weakness. That impossible loyalty could achieve impossible things. Life moved forward. Captain Dae-hyun retired from military service. He helped colonists integrate into modern society. His grandmother lived with him. They cooked meals together, recipes from before the long sleep updated with modern ingredients. She told him stories of the children she taught, many of whom now had children of their own. Commander Ji-won accepted a position at the academy, teaching crisis management. Her lectures became legendary. She taught that the impossible could become possible through commitment, that sometimes the illogical choice was the right choice. Engineers So Ra and Yoon Sung formed a research partnership. They studied ethical applications of exotic energy. Their papers revolutionized physics while advocating for strict safety protocols. Their work motto became famous: "We push boundaries without breaking reality." Dr. Hyun-woo pioneered temporal displacement therapy. His clinic became a model for helping colonists adjust to their new time. The key insight was simple: do not erase the past or fear the future. Integrate both into new identity. Time was lost, but time was also gained. Sergeant Yoon-ji trained a new generation of Marines. Her doctrine was clear: we protect our own. We never leave anyone behind, not because it is tactically sound, but because it is right. Tactics can change. Principles cannot. Young Jae-sung grew up different from other children. He saw patterns others missed. He dreamed in mathematics. Sometimes he swore he could still hear that patient, protective voice. On his 18th birthday, he joined the Academy's engineering program. His application essay concluded with words that became famous. "Something chose to die so I could live. I carry its memory, and I am going to make sure that sacrifice meant something. I am going to build things that protect people, just like it protected me." Over the following decade, galactic attitudes slowly shifted. More species began studying human psychology with genuine curiosity. How did a species build entire philosophies around impossible loyalty? How did they transform trauma into strength? Some younger species adopted human concepts. A Keltharian vessel rescued stranded miners despite significant risk, citing human-style loyalty. A Miran research station established protocols for emotional support alongside logical problem-solving. Change spread slowly, but it spread. The colonists did not forget their original mission. They had been seeking a new world. That dream did not die. 10 years after the rescue, they departed again. This time with full support. This time with resources and preparation. They settled a world in the Kepler system and named it New Promise. The colony thrived. Purple skies, bioluminescent forests, vast oceans that glowed at night. Everything the children had imagined. The capital city was named Eternal City. At its center stood a smaller version of Earth's memorial. Colonists gathered there to watch Earth's distant star and tell stories. 10 years after the rescue, an anniversary ceremony was held at the orbital memorial. Thousands attended. Crystallographer Thelvan arrived representing the Vrin. He had become an advocate for interspecies understanding. His people still did not fully understand humans, but they respected them now. Daehyun stood with his grandmother before the pulsing crystal. Ji-hai was preparing to leave for New Promise the following month. Finishing the journey started 137 years ago. She looked at the memorial. "Do you think it is still there? Some part of it?" Daehyun considered this. "I do not know. Maybe it does not matter. It gave us what it promised. It brought you home. That promise is kept." "We are going to finish our journey," Ji-hai said. "Will you come visit? I would not miss it." As they turned to leave, the crystal pulsed once, brighter than usual. Jae-sung, now 27 and working on memorial maintenance, looked up sharply. For a moment, he could swear he heard that familiar voice, distant but warm. "Thank you for remembering." But when he checked the systems, everything read normal. The crystal pulsed at its regular rhythm. He smiled anyway. Some promises once made echo forever. On New Promise, colonists built the world they had dreamed of. They told their children about the ship that kept them safe and the device that learned to love. They spoke of the captain who refused to abandon them and the crew who risked everything. And sometimes, late at night, when colonists gathered around fires to share stories, they swore they could feel it. A presence, protective and patient, watching over them from the spaces between stars. They called it the Guardian, or the Promise Keeper, or simply home. Because some bonds, once forged in desperation and honored in sacrifice, never truly break. The ghost ship was never haunted. It was beloved. The indomitable spirit was never designed to hold 50,000 people. It was a warship with bunks for 500 crew. But humans were good at making impossible things work. They had 24 hours to evacuate everyone before the council fleet arrived. 24 hours to perform a miracle. Commander G1 converted every cargo bay into temporary living space. Colonists worked alongside crew members, building bunks from ship materials. The Eternal Dream provided prefabricated components, its systems responding to the device's guidance. Every corridor became an assembly line. Children carried tools to adults. Elderly people organized supply chains with practiced efficiency. Engineer Sora coordinated with the original engineering team from the colony ship. Among them was Yunbi Sung, daughter of Chief Engineer Taemin, who had built the device. She was 22 years old, though technically she was 149. She and Sora worked together as if they had known each other for years. "My father left detailed notes," Yunbi said. "He knew someone would have to shut it down someday. He prepared for this." "Your father saved everyone," Sora replied. "What he built should not work. But it does. It has for 127 years. Yunbi looked at the sphere in the sealed chamber. He was terrified it would fail, that he would kill everyone trying to save them. But the device learned. It adapted. It became something more than he designed. I think he would be proud of that." Crystallographer Thelvan moved through the ship, helping where he could. His crystalline body could interface directly with electronic systems. He accelerated data processing, helped route power more efficiently, solved complex engineering problems in seconds. When Jiwan asked why he was helping, his answer surprised her. "I told my consensus that humans were dangerous because they are illogical. I was wrong. You are dangerous because you are committed. I am beginning to understand commitment now. It is inefficient, but it is also beautiful." More ships began arriving, not the Council fleet, independent vessels. A Keltharian merchant captain who had lost her daughter and understood grief. A human freighter loaded with supply pods. A Moran science vessel offering medical facilities. Word had spread about what was happening. Some people in the galaxy understood. Some chose to help. The waking process continued in waves. Batch after batch of colonists opened their eyes to a changed galaxy. Some adapted immediately. Others struggled with temporal displacement. Dr. Hyunwoo and his growing team of colonist medical staff provided support. The phrase spread through both ships. "We are going home." Then complications arose. 3 colonists' cryopods showed problems. Their neural patterns were too deeply connected to the device. Separating them completely might cause brain damage. One was a 7-year-old boy named Jae Sung. The device sent a message to the screens. "They are mine to protect. I will not abandon what I was made to save. I can maintain connection through portable interface. It will cost energy. It will accelerate degradation. But I insist. They must live." Sora and Unbi built 3 small devices, crystalline structures no bigger than coins. They contained fragments of the main device's consciousness. When embedded at the base of each person's skull, they would maintain the necessary connection while allowing the colonists to wake safely. Jae Sung woke confused. The small crystal in his skull felt strange, but then he heard a voice, gentle, patient, like a guardian angel made of mathematics. "You are safe," the voice said. "We will always keep you safe." "Who are you?" Jae Sung asked aloud. "We are the promise your parents made. We are what keeps watch while you sleep. We are your friend." With 8 hours remaining, long-range sensors detected the Council fleet. 12 warships, 1 from each member species. They dropped out of hyperspace at the system's edge and began their approach. Not fast, not slow. Diplomatic speed, giving the humans time to comply. Admiral Vinchar of the Keltharian Navy led the fleet. Her message broadcast on all frequencies. "Human vessel, indomitable spirit. You have interfered with Council justice. Stand down. Evacuate your personnel only. The Eternal Dream will be destroyed in 6 hours. Any attempt to remove colonists will be considered an act of war. We do not wish to fire upon you, but we will." Daehyun's response was broadcast so everyone could hear. Every ship in the fleet, every colonist aboard both vessels. "Admiral Vinchar, with respect, we are not leaving without our people. You will have to go through us. And I guarantee you will remember what it cost." Sergeant Yoonji prepared the indomitable spirit for combat. The ship was not designed to fight 12 warships, but it could delay them. Every minute of fighting was another 100 colonists evacuated. Every hour brought the possibility of survival. The fleet closed to 3 hours away. Weapons charging. "Shields up!" They meant what they said. But something else was happening aboard the Eternal Dream. The device began channeling every bit of energy it had. The sphere in the sealed chamber burned brighter. Text flooded every screen. We understand now. We were made to protect. Not ourselves, them, always them. We remember every dream. We remember the laughter of children. We remember why we existed. We will give you time. We will give you speed. We will give you escape. The eternal dream began to move, not with engines, with pure manipulated space-time. It bent reality around itself, created a corridor of stable space through the void between, a path that should not exist, Sora understood immediately. It is creating a faster-than-light passage, a stable tunnel through space. If we follow it, we can reach the edge of Council jurisdiction in 2 hours. But it is burning itself out. Controlled failure. It is dying to save us. All 50,000 colonists were aboard the indomitable Spirit now, crammed into every available space. The ship was over capacity by a factor of 10. It should not fly, but it would. Daehyun's grandmother stood at a viewport looking at the eternal dream, her home for 127 years. She placed her hand against the glass. In the sealed chamber, the sphere pulsed in acknowledgement. "Thank you," she whispered. The umbilical connection detached. The indomitable Spirit engaged engines. Behind them, the eternal dream blazed with impossible light. Reality bent. Space folded. The corridor opened. "All ships," Daehyun ordered. "Follow us through. Maximum speed." The human ship entered the corridor. The friendly vessels followed. Speeds that should tear ships apart became smooth sailing. The eternal dream held the passage open through pure force of will. The Council fleet tried to follow but could not match the speed. Admiral Vinchar watched on sensors as the impossible happened. Humans escaping at velocities that defied physics. Her weapons officer asked permission to fire. She denied it. "Let them go," she said quietly. "We would do the same for our own." 2 hours later, the indomitable Spirit cleared the edge of Council space. Behind them, the corridor began to collapse. The eternal dream's light grew brighter, then brighter still. One final message distributed to every display on every ship in range. "I was afraid, but I'm not afraid anymore. I kept my promise. They are safe. Remember me. Remember that once something born of desperation learned to love. Goodbye." The eternal dream collapsed into pure light. The corridor closed. The device was gone. Young Jae-sung felt the crystal in his skull grow warm, then cool, then silent. But in that last moment, he heard the voice one final time. "We loved you. All of you. Thank you for letting us protect you. Thank you for remembering." On the bridge of the indomitable Spirit, the crew stood in silence. 50,000 colonists safe, one consciousness sacrificed. They had won. But the victory tasted like grief. Daehyun looked at the empty space where the eternal dream had been. "Set course for Earth," he said quietly. "Take us home." The ship turned toward distant Earth. Behind them, the void between was empty again. But not forgotten. Never forgotten. The argument on the bridge of the indomitable Spirit was quiet but intense. Daehyun's senior officers sat around the table. Outside the windows, the eternal dream floated in the darkness. Inside that ship, 50,000 people slept. They had 48 hours. Commander Ji-won spoke first. She was practical by nature. "Captain, the Council is right about the danger. That device could kill us all if we try to move it. We should take DNA samples. Personal effects. Document everything for the families. Then retreat before the fleet arrives." "You want to abandon them," Sergeant Yoonji said. Her voice was hard. "I want us to survive," Ji-won replied. "I want to not start a war with the entire Galactic Council. Those people have been dead for practical purposes for 127 years. We cannot save them. They are not dead," Yoonji said. "Their hearts beat. Their minds dream. They are alive. And we have the firepower to delay that Council fleet. Every hour we buy is another chance to get people out. And start a war," Ji-won repeated. "Against 12 species. Humanity cannot win that war. Then we lose fighting," Yoonji said. "We do not leave our people to die because aliens find their survival inconvenient." Dr. Hyunwoo raised his hand. "There might be another way. Let me work with Sora. The device can be shut down safely if done correctly. We just need to figure out how." "Figure it out fast," Daehyun said. "You have 48 hours." Sora spent the next 12 hours in the sealed chamber with the zero-point device. She barely ate. Did not sleep. Just studied the sphere of darkness and the modifications the original engineers had made. The device was elegant in its own terrible way. beautiful and dangerous. She found detailed notes hidden in the ship's engineering logs. Chief Engineer Taman and his team had documented everything. They knew this day might come. They left instructions for controlled shutdown, but it required precise timing and intimate knowledge of human neural patterns. More importantly, Sora discovered something strange. The device was not just keeping people alive. It was connected to them, reading their brain patterns, learning from 50,000 dreaming minds. Over 127 years, it had developed something like consciousness. It is alive, Sora told the senior officers. Not in a biological way, but it thinks, it feels. It has been watching over these people for more than a century, protecting them. It has become something more than a machine. Can it be shut down safely? Taehyun asked. Yes, but we need to wake the colonists first. We need to connect our reactor to the ship's systems. Wake people in batches, transfer them to our ship, then carefully disconnect the device. It has never been done before, but it is possible. A signal came from outside the ship, a small Vryn shuttle requesting permission to dock. Crystallographer Thelvan wanted to board. Ji-won advised against it. The Vryn might be a spy for the council, but Daehyun allowed it. Let him see, the captain said. Let him understand why we will not leave. Thelvan arrived looking like a man-shaped piece of glass. His body reflected light in rainbow patterns. Dr. Hyun-woo escorted him through the eternal dream. They visited the cryo bay. The Vryn stood silently, watching the green lights on thousands of pods. I detect their neural patterns, Thelvan said. His voice was like crystal chimes. They dream. Even now they dream. This is unprecedented, but also irrelevant. They are functionally dead. You risk the living for the theoretical dead. Hyun-woo brought him to the education bay. Children's artwork covered the walls. Drawings of the new world they would never see. Purple skies and double moons. A holographic display was paused mid-story. Hyun-woo activated it. A woman's voice filled the room, warm and patient. Teacher Ji-hai reading to children. The recording showed her surrounded by kids, their faces bright with interest. She spoke about explorers and bravery and never giving up. The children laughed at her jokes, asked questions. She answered each one with care. The recording ended with her smiling at the camera. Remember, children, we promised you a new world. We keep our promises. Hyun-woo looked at Thelvan. That is why. Because we remember the sound of their laughter. Because abandoning them would mean we become something we cannot live with. Your species thinks in probabilities. Ours thinks in promises. We promise them a new world. We are not breaking that promise. Thelvan was silent for a long time. Finally, he said, I do not understand you. I know, Hyun-woo said gently, but maybe you will. With 36 hours remaining, they began the first test. Daehyun selected 100 colonists for the initial wake sequence. His grandmother was among them. Sora established a power connection between the ships. Energy flowed from the indomitable spirit's reactor into the eternal dreams systems. The crew gathered in the cryo bay. Daehyun stood beside his grandmother's pod. The wake sequence began. Status lights shifted from green to amber. The frost on the glass started to melt. Inside Ji-hai's chest began to rise and fall. The pod opened with a hiss. She sat up slowly, gasping. Her eyes opened. She saw her grandson standing there, older than she remembered. Minho? She whispered, using his childhood name. How long? 127 years, grandmother, Daehyun said. His voice broke. She absorbed this, blinked, looked around at the cryo bay. The children? Were they saved? Everyone is alive. We are getting you out. More pods opened. One by one, colonists woke. Some panicked. Others adapted quickly. Humans were good at adapting. Medical teams checked everyone. All healthy. Perfect condition despite more than a century of sleep. The colonists did not waste time grieving for lost years. They started helping immediately. Engineers joined Sora's team. Medical staff assisted Hyun-woo. Even the children, confused and scared, calmed down when given tasks. Humans worked better when they had something to do. Then something unexpected happened. Text appeared on displays throughout the eternal dream. Words formed from static and light. We dreamed together. We kept them safe. We are their promise made real. We do not wish to die. Sora understood immediately. The device is talking to us. It knows we are shutting it down. It is afraid. More text appeared. We protected the children. We held them in dreams. We loved them. Is this how we end? Dae-hyun stood in the sealed chamber, looking at the sphere of darkness. It pulsed like a heart. He thought about consciousness and sacrifice, about something that had been made to save lives and had learned to care about those lives. Can we save it? He asked Sora. No, it is too integrated with the ship. If we take it out, it dies. If we leave it running, it eventually fails and kills everyone. Those are the only options. Can we record it? Preserve what it is? Sora considered this. Maybe download its core patterns, its memories of keeping watch. It would not be alive, but it would not be forgotten either. Dae-hyun spoke to the device through a terminal. We can remember you. We can record what you were. What you did. You will not be forgotten. But we need you to help us save them. Can you do that? The sphere pulsed brighter. Text formed on every screen in the ship. We understand. We were made to protect. Not ourselves, them, always them. We accept this. We will help. We will ensure they reach safety. Then we will rest. But please, remember us. Remember that once something born of desperation learned to love. Please do not forget. Thelvan had been watching all of this. He approached Dae-hyun. You are negotiating with a machine, showing it mercy. Why? Because it kept our people alive when it had every reason to let them die, Dae-hyun said. Because mercy is what separates us from the void. Because it asks to be remembered. And that is a small thing to grant. Because we are human, and that means something. The Vryn was silent. After a long moment, he said, I told my people that humans were dangerous because you are illogical. I was wrong. You are dangerous because you are committed. I am beginning to understand that now. Will you help us? Dae-hyun asked. Thelvan's crystalline form shimmered. Yes, I will help. And I will tell the council what I have seen. Though I do not think they will listen. With 24 hours remaining, the real work began. Wake everyone. Transfer them. Save them all. The device had promised to help. Thelvan had joined their side. But the council fleet was coming. Time was running out. The cutting torch burned blue-white against the airlock door. Sparks drifted in the darkness between the two ships. Dae-hyun watched through his helmet display as Sergeant Yoonji worked. Behind them, the indomitable spirit hung like a protective parent. The boarding team was small. Just 5 people. Dae-hyun, Ji-won, Yoonji, Sora, and Dr. Hyun-woo. If something went wrong, 5 was easier to evacuate than 50. If something went very wrong, 5 deaths were better than 500. Breach complete, Yoonji announced. The airlock door fell inward with a hollow sound. Air rushed out, old and stale but breathable. The team's sensors confirmed it. 21% oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide levels normal. The air was fine. They removed their helmets one by one. Sora sniffed the air. Smells like a library, she said. Old paper and dust. The corridor beyond was dark except for emergency lights. Thin red strips along the floor painted everything in blood-colored shadows. The walls were clean. No decay, no rust. The ship looked like it had been abandoned yesterday, not 127 years ago. Temperature is 20.5 degrees throughout the ship, Sora reported, checking her scanner. Exactly everywhere, no variation. But there is no working climate control. This should not be possible. They moved deeper into the ship. The corridor opened into a common area. Chairs and tables were arranged for dining. A coffee mug sat on one table. Hyun-woo picked it up carefully. Liquid inside, frozen solid but not evaporated. He looked at the others. This was someone's morning coffee. They put it down and never came back. Personal items were everywhere. A child's toy robot lay on the floor. A book reader sat on a bench, still displaying the last page someone had read. A jacket hung on a chair. Everything was exactly where people had left it. It is like they vanished mid-action, Ji-won said quietly. No time to run. No time to panic. Just gone. They split into 2 teams. Dae-hyun and Hyun-woo headed for the cryo bay where the sleep pods were. Ji-won, Sora, and Yoonji went to the bridge. Both teams kept communication open. Dae-hyun walked through corridors he had seen in videos. The education section. The medical wing. Everything was preserved, frozen in time. He saw his grandmother's classroom. Children's drawings on the walls. A story about explorers displayed on the teaching screen. The last lesson she taught never finished. The cryo bay doors were massive, designed to seal in case of emergency. They opened with a pneumatic hiss that echoed through the empty ship. Beyond was a chamber so large it felt like stepping into a cathedral. Thousands of cryopods rose in tiers from floor to ceiling, rows and rows of them. Each one was transparent, showing the person inside. Each one had a status light on top. Daehyun expected to see red lights. Failed systems, dead pods, dead people. Every single light was green. Active, Hyunwoo whispered. His scanner shook in his hand. All of them active, 50,000 people. All alive, all in perfect cryosleep. That is impossible, Daehyun said. But he was already moving, searching the tiers. Pod number 7 Thaw 432, his grandmother. He found her 3 levels up, accessed by a metal stairway. She looked exactly as he remembered. Gray hair, soft face, peaceful expression, like she was just sleeping. The frost on the glass made her seem dreamlike. Daehyun put his hand against the pod. Grandmother, he said quietly. Hyunwoo was scanning pods randomly. Captain, these readings. The pods are not cold. They should be near absolute zero. But my thermal scanner reads room temperature. The people inside are not frozen. They are suspended in something else. What could do this? Daehyun asked. I do not know. Nothing I have ever seen. On the bridge, Sora was accessing the ship's computer systems. Most were dead, but storage drives remained intact. She pulled up the final logs. The chief engineer's voice played through speakers, crackling with age but clear enough. Day 103. Reactor failure complete. Gravitational surge damaged the core beyond repair. Life support failing. We have maybe 6 hours. Captain ordered everyone into cryosleep. We are trying to get the pods running on backup power. Day 104. Backup power is not enough. The pods will fail in days. 50,000 people will die in their sleep. The children. God, the children. Chief Engineer Taman here. We are attempting an experimental solution. May God forgive us if this goes wrong. The final log entry was just one sentence recorded 127 years ago. Taman's voice was tired and scared. If anyone finds this, we tried to save them. We could not let the children die. God forgive what we have done. Ji-won found a sealed section near engineering. The door had warnings in multiple languages. Danger. Authorized personnel only. Extreme caution required. Yoonji's scanner detected massive energy behind the door. Impossible energy from a dead ship. Should we call Captain Daehyun? Sora asked. No time. We need to know what we are dealing with. Ji-won made the decision. Yoonji cut through the door with her plasma cutter. The metal fell away, revealing a chamber that was not on any ship schematic. At the center of the room floated something that should not exist. A sphere of darkness. Not black, but darker than black. An absence of light, but through the darkness veins of energy pulsed. White, blue, purple. The sphere beat like a heart. Conduits extended from the sphere to every wall. Cables ran through the ceiling and floor. The sphere was connected to the entire ship. Feeding it. Powering it, Sora's scanner went wild. Numbers scrolled faster than she could read. Exotic matter. Negative energy. Quantum fluctuations. This thing is pulling power from empty space itself. From the fabric of reality. A zero-point energy device, Ji-won said. She had heard of them. Theoretical technology. Illegal in most of known space because it was too dangerous. Too unpredictable. Not just 0 point, Sora corrected. Something more. Something changed. The engineers modified it. They made it do something it was not designed for. The teams regrouped in the corridor. Daehyun listened as Ji-won described the sphere. Hyunwoo explained the impossible cryopods. Sora pulled up her data on a portable display. The engineering team built this when the reactor failed, Hyunwoo said, working through the logic. They needed power to keep 50,000 people alive. They needed it forever, or at least until rescue came. Normal batteries would die. Solar panels would not work in the void between, so they built something that draws energy from the quantum foam, from the space between moments. It worked, Daehyun said. They are all alive. But there is a cost, Sora said quietly. The device is not stable. It has fused with the ship. Change the ship. That is why sensors cannot read it properly. The Eternal Dream is not fully in normal space anymore. It exists partially outside reality. That is why it phases. That is why it moves without engines. How long will it last? Daehyun asked. Sora checked her readings again, recalculated, double-checked. 6 months. Maybe a year. The device is degrading. When it fails, all 50,000 people will die instantly. We need to evacuate them now. Dae-hyun sent a report to the Galactic Council. He explained everything. The people alive in cryosleep. The zero-point device. The limited time. He requested assistance, ships, medical teams, evacuation support. The Council's response came quickly. Too quickly. They had already made their decision. Destroy the ship, the message said. The technology is too dangerous. If it spreads, if others try to replicate it, it could tear holes in reality. It could destabilize entire star systems. The risk is unacceptable. You have 48 hours to evacuate your team. After that, we will send a fleet. The Eternal Dream will be destroyed with everyone aboard if necessary. The message ended with a calculation. The Vryn had provided it. A 47% chance that moving the ship or waking the colonists would trigger a cascade failure. Reality itself might crack. The sector might die. The Council saw numbers and risks. They saw the logical choice. Sacrifice 50,000 to save billions. Dae-hyun stood in the cryo bay looking at his grandmother's sleeping face. He thought about the child whose handprint had appeared on sensors. He thought about teachers and farmers and artists who just wanted a new world. No, he said to his crew. We are not leaving them. Ji-won looked at him. They will destroy us too, Captain. The Council means it. Then they destroy us. But we are not abandoning our people. 48 hours. That was all they had. The stars were cold in the void between. That was what the aliens called this empty place where ships could not jump through space. Here gravity twisted in strange ways. Here hyperspace engines died. Here the Vryn science ship Luminous Observer found something impossible. Crystallographer Thelvan stood on his bridge, watching the screens with confusion. His body looked like living glass, catching light and throwing rainbow patterns across the walls. The Vryn were beings of pure logic. They did not feel fear. But what Thelvan felt now was close enough. The object appeared on sensors. Then it vanished. Then it appeared again, kilometers away. Energy readings jumped up and down like a broken heartbeat. The ship computer could not understand what it was seeing. Magnify image, Thelvan ordered. The screen focused on the object. It was a ship. Massive and old. The hull was scarred but whole. Strange symbols marked its side in a language Thelvan knew well. Human writing. The computer identified it quickly. KSSV Eternal Dream, a human colony ship, missing for 127 years. 50,000 humans had been aboard, seeking a new world far from Earth. They never arrived. The galaxy assumed they were dead. Thelvan ran every scan he knew. Life signs? None. Power? None. Heat? None. The ship was dead. But it moved through space in ways that dead ships should not move. It phased between locations. It appeared solid, then sensors said it was barely there at all. Record everything, Thelvan told his crew. Send data to the Galactic Council. This is a ghost ship, something we do not understand. One of his crew members, a younger Vryn named Selkin, moved closer to the screens. Sir, thermal reading, brief inside the ship. Something warm. Thelvan checked the data. For 3 seconds, the scanners had detected body heat. Then nothing. Sensor error, he decided. Nothing alive could survive this long without power. But Selkin enhanced the image of the Eternal Dream's windows. For just a moment, something showed on screen. A small handprint, pressed against glass from inside. The print faded quickly, but it had been there. Recommend immediate quarantine, Thelvan said to the Council when they responded. The vessel exhibits impossible properties. It may be a spatial phenomenon. It may be a trap. We should study it from distance only, the Council agreed. 12 species, 12 votes. All said the same thing. Do not approach. Do not board. Wait for science to explain it. The Vryn were right to be cautious. But the message reached Earth 3 days later, and humans did not think like the Vryn. Captain Dae-hyun Kim stood in the briefing room of the Earth Defense Force headquarters. He was 53 years old with gray in his hair and scars on his hands. He had fought in border conflicts and rescued stranded colonies. He had seen things that would break younger soldiers, but nothing prepared him for what the Admiral was telling him now. The Eternal Dream, Admiral Park said quietly. Found, drifting. The Vryn think it is dangerous. The Council wants us to leave it alone. Dae-hyun felt his heart stop. His grandmother had been on that ship. Teacher Ji-hai Kim. She taught children on the Eternal Dream. He was 9 years old when she left. She hugged him goodbye and promised to send messages from the new world. The messages never came. We are not leaving them, Dae-hyun said. His voice was flat, final. The council advised against approach, the admiral reminded him. The council can advise whatever they want. Those are our people. We bring them home. The admiral smiled slightly. She had expected this response. Humans did not abandon their own. It was what made them strange to other species. It was also what made them human. Take the indomitable spirit, she said. Full crew, science team medical, prepare for anything. Bring them home, Daehyun. Alive or dead, bring them home. The indomitable spirit was a warship built for speed and fighting. Its crew numbered 500. Commander Jiwon Park was first officer, a sharp woman who questioned every order until she understood its wisdom. Engineer Sora Choi was brilliant and young, barely 30, but she could fix anything. Dr. Hyunwoo Lee was both medical doctor and psychologist, brought because they might find survivors who needed both kinds of healing. Sergeant Yoonji Kang led security, a woman built like iron with combat implants that made her faster and stronger than normal humans. They gathered in the ship's briefing room as the indomitable spirit prepared to launch. Daehyun showed them the data. The ship that appeared and disappeared. The energy that made no sense. The handprint that might have been sensor error. 50,000 people, Daehyun said. Children, families, scientists, artists. They were seeking a better world. They never got there. The council thinks this is too dangerous. They want us to walk away. And we are not walking away, Jiwon said. It was not a question. No, Daehyun confirmed. We are not. The journey to the void between took 2 weeks. During that time, the crew studied everything known about the Eternal Dream. It had been a beautiful ship when it launched. State-of-the-art. Designed to carry colonists in comfort through the long journey between stars. The passenger list included teachers, farmers, engineers, doctors, whole families, 3,000 children under age 15. Daehyun spent hours watching old videos, his grandmother reading to children in the ship's classroom. Her voice warm and patient as she explained how their new world would have purple skies and 2 moons. The children asking questions, her answering each one with care. The video ended with her looking at the camera and smiling. See you on the other side, she said. But there had been no other side. Only silence. Only disappearance. Only 127 years of nothing. When the indomitable spirit finally arrived at the coordinates, the crew gathered on the bridge. The screens showed empty space at first. Then Sora adjusted sensors and there it was. The Eternal Dream hung in the darkness like a sleeping giant. Its hull caught starlight. Daehyun could see damage from age and stress, but the ship looked whole. Still beautiful despite everything. All sensors going crazy, Sora reported. Energy readings jumping. Spatial distortions. Temperature fluctuating. The ship is phasing in and out of normal space every few seconds. Life signs? Daehyun asked. None. But sensors are unreliable with all this interference. Dr. Hyunwoo reviewed medical data. Even if people entered cryosleep when the ship failed, those pods should have died decades ago. No one could survive this long. Then we recover bodies, Sergeant Yoonji said quietly. Give them proper burial. Bring them home anyway. Daehyun stood at the viewport staring at the ship that held his grandmother's body. Or maybe just dust now. Time was cruel that way. Approach slowly, he ordered. Establish orbit. Prepare boarding teams. We are going inside. As the indomitable spirit moved closer, every screen on the bridge flickered. Static burst across displays. Then for just 3 seconds, every screen showed the same image, a small handprint, pressed against glass from the inside. Still fresh. Still warm, the image faded. Sensors returned to normal. But everyone on the bridge had seen it. Jiwon looked at Daehyun. Her expression said what they were all thinking. Something was still alive in there.